Hello there, survivors, and welcome back to ARK Survival Ascended. Today, we're continuing the work on my Gothic town that I started last week. It's quite hard to believe that it's only been a week because, as you might notice, I have been quite busy. I have definitely been quite busy here, adding more builds to this place. Of course, mostly relying on the Gothic craft structure skins that released last week. But there's also a few little bits of their cosmetics. There's a bit of castle craft, CKF in there to add some wood textures to some of the builds. There's, of course, a little bit of cozy cabins for some nice grass textures, as well as a little bit of wild water and the fountain and waterfall catalog to add a few details here and there. But yeah, as you can see, I have been quite busy. I have made quite a lot of progress since, well, definitely since last week's stream, but also definitely since the tour video that I made afterwards. So yeah, you can see we've got quite the Gothic town starting to form, starting to take shape here. We have all sorts of buildings that I've been working on. You can see a lot of the new street layouts that I've laid down so that I can, you know, get to work making different buildings. Of course, today we'll be working on at least a new building somewhere here near the center up on the hill is what I've got in mind. But yeah, there's definitely a few options. You can see a few shapes already for different houses that I'm kind of like planning, and you can see a lot of the road layouts. So before we do anything, I figured we do a proper tour of what I've got so far, and I'll also explain a little bit about what I've been recording, because I have also recorded a few tutorials for a few of the buildings, and I'm definitely planning to record a few extra tutorials for some of the other buildings that I haven't done that for yet. But yeah, you can see some big new additions to the town. I'm getting to know the skin better and better, but there's even a whole new world or a whole extra world to still discover by changing some of the materials and the textures, etc. But most importantly, I think I have some really nice areas now where it really is starting to feel like a proper town because of like the different heights. You can see buildings in multiple directions, little details around the street, of course, just to bring it to life. Well, just cool buildings everywhere, of course, also help to get that feeling going. And then yeah, especially just the street level, just wandering around on the street level is really nice. So that's going to be today's plan. We'll take a little tour of what I have built so far. We'll take a look around and you know, show off what we've got so far here, and then we'll work on a plan, or start working on the planned build for today, and see what we can come up with for the next building to add to this town. But as I said in the past, like, I've got big plans here. Obviously, at some point we're gonna need a big, nice Gothic cathedral somewhere. That's probably gonna be back on that hill, and at some point we're definitely also going to add a castle, probably somewhere on top of that cliff. So there is definitely a lot more to come, but so far it's really starting to feel like a proper little town, like a proper little city. So hello there, everyone. Welcome in. I'm glad you're all here and hope you are doing great. Yeah, there we go. I decided to start here in the courtyard of the manor that we built in last week's stream. And we have a lovely courtyard. The street a little lower than the sidewalks. I've got a template on my Discord which you can use. It's just two foundations on different heights. The easiest is to use the template. I've made that template for myself now, and I've just been using that all the time when I need to lower like this, the little step difference basically, which is definitely really nice for these city builds. So yeah, let's go and take a quick look around everything, and let's see what I have been up to, because I have been quite busy here. I've been quite obsessed with this place. I'm really enjoying building with these cosmetics and in this style, so I really hope you also enjoy the builds. And as I said, I have already worked on a few tutorials which will be coming up soon, and I am working and planning to do more for some of the newer builds that I've done here. So yeah, we are here in the manor that I built on last week's stream, and I completed the other side because we kind of did mostly one half of it. I completed the other half. If you're also wondering, we're right here on the map, so quite central, pretty much the exact middle of Ragnarok is where we are building our giant city. And yeah, this lovely courtyard is what we well, part of the build that we did last week. I really like this build, to be honest, especially this courtyard. Really like with the deluxe dream house for these amazing hedges, these sculptures that are really cool additions, really cool little details, just all the little bits and bobs around as well to make this place feel alive. And of course this nice Gothic statue in the middle to really tie it all together. But that's definitely not everything that I've been up to, and definitely not everything that we can see over here, because of course this was the first little square that I made. The building that I started with is actually this one on the opposite side, which is my Gothic mansion. I'm happy to say that I've got a tutorial for that recorded, and that will be should be up next week, I think. I forget, I've been working ahead quite a bit with some videos, so yeah, that should be coming up soon. I think it might already be available for members. I'm not actually sure what I have already scheduled and what not. But yeah, we have a few other buildings. We have a new tower here to add a little bit of height to the place. I've also recorded a tutorial for this little house here. That will actually be coming up very soon, I think. That's one of the first videos that are coming up. And then of course we have the gatehouse here at the end of the street. We have of course a nice dreadmere pulling a cart and access to the graveyard there as well. But I've also added a few more of these small buildings besides the giant tower. These buildings are basically kind of the same vibe as this, but slightly different. So this one does have some of the same elements, but then doesn't have a tower. And then this one doesn't have a tower and doesn't have the little 3D window. I think that's how they differ. But just to kind of fill up the street, of course, because we'll need a lot of these houses, so I decided to make basically two of the similar variants as this, but then to kind of block off the end of the street so that at least for now it feels like a proper street. Then we have a big tower here, playing around with a lot of these cool 3D assets to get this this really cool and steep looking tower at the end. Hello there, welcome in, Bobo, welcome in. But yeah, definitely gets the right vibes. I also just decided to change the water from the crystal water skin that I used before to the wild water skin, because it just is a little less saturated, less bright colors, and I think that fits a little bit better with the vibes for my Gothic town. But other than that, this has all kind of remained the same. Of course, we have the rest of the street here too, with a lovely little building. I'm not exactly sure how much there was in the last store, so we're just kind of taking a look at it all. I really like these windows that are sticking out from the sides. That's a really nice variant to get a little bit more 3D effects to it all. We have some trees here in the middle as well. We have a little bison pulling a cart here on the streets to add some life. We have another dreadmere here, but this time pulling some coffins, of course, here. And then we have some more trees and greeneries. What does it look like at night? I haven't really done a lot of lighting yet. I do need to add street lanterns and everything. We have a few of these places that have torches, but other than that, there's not really a lot of light yet. So probably nothing too crazy at night yet. Because I would probably have to add a little bit of interior lighting. Also, ARK light, it's not the greatest from a distance. Lights don't always load in that far, so I'm not sure on the scale of the whole city is how reliable, like how good that would end up looking, because I'm gonna go quite big, which you will see. So yeah, we have a little graveyard over here on this side, which we can open. We have a lot of the tombstones. There's of course tombstone variants from this one, so you can blaze the gravestone and just kind of change it. We have some nice statues here as well, some lovely little details to kind of wander around, bringing a little bit more of the natural vibes, of course, with all these buildings. And I've got a little church here too. Again, I'm not sure if that was there in the tour or not. It might have been. It might not have been. I don't really know. But yeah, we got... Probably wasn't, actually. I don't think there was this much in the tour I did. But yeah, we got a... We've got a little church. So this is not going to be the main cathedral. It's way too small for that. But just a small little church to taste that. So yeah, I've been hard at work doing a whole lot of building. A whole lot of building. Yeah, you would need a lot of materials if you want to build this in survival, for sure, because it's grown quite significantly. So yeah, we have a nice little church here with some nice towers here at the front, side entrances as well. So one of course leads off to the graveyard, the other one just kind of leads off to the side there. There's not too much built there yet, except for the road leading to the big tavern that's right there as well. But yeah, quite a nice little building, and definitely having a lot of fun playing around with all these 3D assets that this offers. Of course, also the stained glass here for this build specifically. Oh, actually, there seems to be... Oh, that this one hasn't got the right variant. There we go. We want to have stained glass, of course. And then to have a little bit interior here. Well, at least we got some nice pillars. That's really it for now. But yeah, you can do some cool things. I definitely want to decorate, but I can't really decorate everything because that's gonna just cause this place to be insanely high in structures. So for now, I'm just having a lot of fun designing my own little town, and I do want to add some detail here and there, but I think I'm mostly going to focus on outsides and shop fronts and stuff like that, so that there's a lot of character to the build. And yeah, and just adding a lot of the details on street levels. I don't think I'm going to go too crazy with interiors, except for maybe a few like significant or important buildings. Haven't really done light yet, because I just build mostly now, because I'm excited to be building. So we have a few lights here and there, but there's no street lights, etc. yet. So yeah, we also have this gateway, kind of finishing up this street here, and this leads you kind of in a new district, I'd say. So this is kind of the district next to the manor. There's going to be a house here to the right. There's going to be another building here to the left. You can see that the foundations and stuff are kind of laid out. So I kind of have a plan for where there is going to be buildings, but there's no buildings yet. Then we also have like a nice little square up here with, there's going to be a building there, and there's going to be a bigger building right over here too, which is probably the one that we're gonna work on today. And then we have well, we have a way down here. The main street kind of goes down there. We have a little side path going down here between the statues, and of course we got the other main road here, right here, going down to the big tavern and the riverside things. Yeah, there's a lot of glass, stained glass. There's two different stained glass options, and I think it's probably paintable too, so you might be able to customize it a little bit. So definitely loads of options. It's foundations and ceilings, most of this, because of course, you know, for the height, not everywhere it can be foundations. So it's foundations, ceilings, pillars when needed. So yeah, we got these stairs going down below, and this is kind of where we meet the riverside. So there's a river flowing down from the mountains, which is really nice, and this kind of meets that. So this is going to be the riverside. I do plan on having a few things on the other side, of course, so that we could have some bridges, etc. But for now, we don't. We do have this lovely area. We got a horse statue here because we have some stables here. I just recorded a tutorial for these stables today. So, yeah, I will be posting the tutorial at some point. I just have to edit it and everything. But yeah, I made a nice little stable. So we have 4 stables here. I put the Dreadmare in there just because they kind of fit the Gothic vibe, obviously. But yeah, you can see it's a pretty nice little building here where we have some space on the side for the creatures, this smaller little building, and then the main Gothic building in the corner. So yeah, quite nice. Especially also happy with some of the interior here. You can see all of these supports, etc., making it look very nice and detailed on the inside and the outside. And you can see I've added a little bit more details here on the street to bring some life. I'm just taking it as I go, but little things like this already really help bringing a lot of life to the place, you know, and making it look a lot more like an actual town, like an actual place that's being lived in. And then here we have my tavern, and I definitely went a little bit overboard with this tavern building, but I do really love it, and I think it would be an amazing ARK base. So that's probably the next building that I want to make a tutorial on, because I really like the way that this turned out. I really do like the way this looks. It's a pretty big build, obviously. Like, it's a pretty big building, but I think it looks really cool as well. There's a lot of different layers to it, of course, different textures and different things to kind of enjoy. But yeah, I think that just makes it a very nice little bit. I don't know what's flying through the screen there. That's kind of crazy. But yeah, we have nice big tavern build. The idea is that you could be parking some horses and etc. down below. We also have some shark statues here at the entrance. The tavern is borderline a guild hall. It definitely could kind of be a guild hall. Yeah, I went crazy on this one for sure. So yeah, this would be kind of where you could also use it as a little bit of stable. So and in ARK, of course, this could be your dino pen if you're using it in a playthrough. So you have a decent amount of space down below, some gates, of course, to enter and exit it from different sides. And then over here in the tower that is attached to the side, we actually have the staircase to go up. And then we can even go all the way to the top of this tower where we have a little bit of space, but we can also go into the main building. So this is one of the buildings here. We have access to a lovely small balcony here on the front, but we also have access to a bigger balcony at the back, which will go all the way to the other entrance. So yeah, you have a lot of space there for sure. You can go all the way to the other side. We have a bigger room. We also have a gate here because this actually acts as a side path to the church, so you can get back to the church level from here, which is quite nice. I decided to connect those up because why not? But then from here you can also, of course, go back up into the main tower here in the middle. There's a balcony off to the side here with some amazing views of your surroundings. So yeah, if you want to enjoy the views outside, you can do that here. We can, of course, also take the stairs further up into the tower. We have a room here to the side, which is like the smaller wooden room. And then we also have a balcony along the back, which connects you back up to the bigger room over on this side, which actually also has another floor, which could be some kind of like bedroom up here with a little bit of extra space. And yeah, it's a big build. It's a very big build. Of course, we can also go back into the tower. We can keep going up further to the top of the tower here with a pretty nice room, but also access to a lovely balcony, which already has a pretty cool view of the existing town. But of course, it's only going to get better as more things get added. Do you ever struggle with no foundation? No, it's pretty easy to add more foundation support whenever I need it. That's not really been any problem. But yeah, there we go. So yeah, big tavern building. definitely went a little bit overboard on that one, but I do think this could be an absolutely amazing base to use. Like, I really like the character of it. I think there's a lot going on there. And yeah, just, I don't know. I really like the vibe and how it came together. So that's kind of the big square down here, but we also have some areas that are a little bit more like a city, a little bit narrower. Not all of them have buildings yet. We do have this little building here on the side of the river with these nice arches in front. So you have a little bit of a nice overhang area, which allows for these amazing arches over top. And then we have the main building itself, which also quite nice. You know, just trying to come up with different shapes and different designs. Not all of these buildings are like, you know, spectacular because, well, I just need to fill the city. We've got the same kind of tower as we had over there at that square. Again, to get a little bit of more height in, because what I really like in a cityscape like this, in a town like this, is when you're walking around and you can see these tall landmarks from quite far away, because you kind of have something to aim for when you're walking around the town. And I feel like that just makes it feel so much more like a town or a city. So yeah, we have, of course, we can follow the path here, but we also have this road going all the way around the back. You can go up with these stairs, which will lead you to this little neighborhood up here, which is where we'll start working on in a little bit. But we can also, of course, continue our road here. And this is, we're going to get to one of the parts where I'm looking forward to having this little street finished, because it's going to be a little bit more narrow here. So the street is a little bit more narrow, and we're going to have buildings along the sides here. You can see it's only 3 wide. We've got a little sidewalk there. We already have a few buildings standing in, but on another build's plans, we already have one house here. We're going to have another building there, another one there, another one there. This one is actually going to be connected from both sides. So there's going to be something going over the road itself to make it feel connected, which I also think is going to be a really cool feature to, yeah, kind of make it feel more dense and more like a proper town, rather than just a lot of buildings. We've got some very tall town buildings here as well, going up in height. Got another little plants and statue going on here. More buildings there. But a really cool feature is actually down here, which is, yeah, you can see the grate, so you can see there's even water underneath it flowing in there. I thought that was a really neat feature. I love these textures, so I decided to build that into the street level as a little bit of detail. And then actually, if you go off to the side here, you'll see there's also a drain. So this little water stream comes out here and goes back into the river. So it just adds a little bit of character and life to the place by having this. It will look even more authentic when you get the street lights, lanterns up. Yeah, for sure. But I am a little bit worried about if I add too many light sources, what that will do possibly to performance as well. So yeah, this is all Gothic craft cosmetic. Yeah, thralls in the houses and some on the roads. Yeah, I'm definitely slowly adding things. So I've already added a few Dratma pulling carts and a bison pulling a cart and stuff. I want to put in a little bit of life, but yeah, we're gonna have to see how well performance keeps up as well, of course. So far it's been it's pretty good. I mean, I do have a really strong system, and this is my private server, so don't really have to worry about anyone else suffering from me going too far, too crazy. But yeah, I think today I think we'll focus mostly on just building, and then one of the future streams I also want to focus on the street level details. So adding the lights, adding like little scenes and details, etc. So that we have like a lot of more life and details to the street. Yeah, I just put out a tour for my high galaxy structure skin, and I will be making a tutorial on that soon as well. So yeah, we have some more houses here. Actually, I really like this little corner, how that came together. So this is 2 different buildings kind of making their own little square here. We got a water well there as well to kind of connect them up. They're quite tall buildings, but they really tie this little area together. They close off the view a little bit, which is quite nice, make you almost forget about the rest of the city. And this building also is kind of halfway next to this staircase, so it really helps tying these different layers together. And that's why it helps being so tall, because well, we have the different layers kind of connecting up that way. And a little bit of greenery here and there as well, of course, to kind of keep it all flowing that way. And then I also have a little bit of, well, planned building here, but I really wanted this overhang to be in front over the kind of sidewalk, so that's why we have that here. We actually need to change some variants. Sometimes when you've changed variants, they don't save correctly, so you need to fix them later on. But yeah, got a little fountain here as well, using just some wild water skins on ceilings, and then on the deco box we also have this wild water thing. It's a bit bright blue. I'm not sure if I like that. Maybe I should try to paint it white. Maybe that will look nice and more natural. But yeah, quite like this, as well as this little chicken statue here in the middle. More statues there carrying some flames to light up the scenes a little bit. But big plans. And then, as I showed at the start, for the rest is mostly just a lot of planning of where buildings are going to go, the roads, etc., connecting everything up to different layers. I also try to get a diagonal road here a little bit, so that we don't make it feel too like planned out, too straight and too kind of squarish. And also we have a little Equus pulling a card here. I think adding scenes like this really helps adding in a bunch of life for the whole place. And I think today I want to start working on this building so that I get the most central building for this neighborhood in, and we can kind of go off the vibes from there. But definitely more planned. Where's the big cathedral gonna be? It's gonna be right here, where currently there's the stables again, because as I said, I just made a tutorial for this one. I need to start editing that, because of course we have the stables right there, so I can remove these stables. And this is probably going to be, because it's a little bit of a hill, so it's a little bit higher than the rest, and I think that's where I'm planning to do like a proper big cathedral. But I want to have played around with the skins a little bit by the time that I get there, because of course there's a lot of things hidden in here, and I'm learning more and more as I go, especially with some of these detailed pieces, as you can see here. I really like the way I've been able to tie those together for the top of these towers. But yeah, you know, you want to make sure you understand everything. It might have another little cemetery. We already have a little one, of course, next to the little church I made. But we might add an extra one. Looks amazing. Thanks so much. Well, you're the expert, I think, Brainy. You're definitely, from what I've seen with all your access before, you've built a crazy town already. I've had to do this in a week of going obsessed after I saw it released. But yeah, so yeah, the cathedral is gonna go where I've been doing my tutorials on this little hill, because it's a relatively big area that I could flatten off here to get a cathedral on there. It would also mean we have some pretty cool views from the side here, which is really nice. And then, of course, if we do a castle back up on the cliff in the snow there, then I think it will tie the whole thing together. So my current plans before we start building, of course, we kind of have this town center now once I finish every build here. I do want to continue that town center on the other side of the river, so that we can have some bridges, etc., and really flowing with the existing landscape. So I'm probably going to go... I think I might want to take the town up all the way basically to where the mountain starts. I think that would be a nice natural boundary. And then over here, there's probably going to be like a city wall or town wall somewhere out here. And that's going to wrap around to about where this rock is, I would say. I think that's probably going to be the edge of the town, or at least the city walls. And then I do want to have potentially, or at least this is my crazy mind going absolutely crazy, I was thinking of doing some farmlands here. Like, you know, doing like fields with like corn, etc., long grass. Having some like farm fields out here so that you have the city in the background and then some farm fields, etc., out here in the front, because I think that would look really, really cool. But that is going crazy, and it is also assuming performance-wise that everything will be fine. So of course that might be pulling it a little bit too far, but we'll see. We'll see when we get there. So far performance has been pretty nice. The only thing I notice is that nowadays when you're loading it in, like when I'm like half on the edge of where it loads, that's when the performance is the worst. But as soon as I'm back into the town, like, then it's fine. Like, it just needs to have the town loaded or something. I don't know. What's your biggest work ever? This is probably going to be my biggest project so far. Yeah, this is definitely up there. Like, this is crazy, because I've been wanting to do a town project for a while again, and especially with a lot of the new tricks and stuff I learned over the last 2 years. So this has been a great opportunity, because I really like these skins. There's a lot of really cool textures and 3D assets in here, which help with these types of city feelings. And yeah, I've just been going at it for the past week, and hopefully we'll be able to continue for a little bit longer and continue to do some awesome builds with it. So for the build today, basically I want to build this building here on the corner. So this is a pretty big layout, and it probably won't mean anything to you, but for me it is making a lot of sense. So this is going to be an entrance where the building is over top. So this is basically going to be an arch where you can walk underneath. So this little part is part of the same building, but it's going to be connected by the build above. So yeah, it's gonna hopefully be really exciting, and that's what we're gonna start working on now. This mod is totally the mod for big town. Yeah, exactly. That's what I felt when I saw it released, because I didn't really keep up with when it was going to be releasing. But when I saw it released on Thursday, I was instantly hooked. I built my first building, and I instantly was like, I feel like I should go for it, because I've been wanting to do a town, and this feels like a perfect opportunity. And yeah, I've been pretty obsessed since. So yeah, we'll see where we get eventually, but for now I think we'll start working on this building. So to start with, I want to work on where this entrance is going to be. So that's basically up to this wall is where we want to build, because there's going to be a building here, but well, it's kind of, the scale is going to be based on what we need over here for this entrance. So I think we'll start by raising up this too high. So from the corners, I'm just going to go up with these, make them too high. I'm not going to add pillars in those corners just yet, because, well, we might want to do something differently there. And at least over here, we're probably just going to have a walls, but I think I might flip them inside out for the textures that we can get with those. Because I think if I do this, we should be able to get some nice things going. So yeah, because we have all these little details which are quite nice. So for example, this wall already looks a lot more interesting than just a normal wall, which is really nice with all these 3D textures. You have a lot of these opportunities to make it look a lot more detailed and a lot nicer than it, well, technically is, just because of all these amazing textures. Hello there, welcome in, welcome in. Okay, so now, of course, the bigger question is some of the details that we want to add. I think I definitely probably want to have a entrance in here so that you can access this part. It also feels like we want to have a centered window here. And I kind of feel like might as well have some windows here as well, because you do have a pretty nice view from here. So maybe we'll just do 2 windows next to each other, because then you can still enjoy a little bit of the views. A little bit of the views, always nice. And I think if we do these like that, we should still be able to have the nice textures. Actually, probably want to have a small door here, since it's just a small building. Then we want to have our window up in here, and 2 windows right there. I think that will probably look quite nice. This is the hardest part of building with skins, of course. And of course, the more you build with it, the easier it's going to become, because you kind of know like the variants that you're going to be using, but you kind of have to imagine a lot of it first before you actually apply the skins, of course. Before you can actually see what it's like, you kind of have to just imagine that it looks like you want it to look. All right, so if I change all of these, we'll get a nice building going. And then for these windows, I might have something like that. What else? These options could also work. But for building this small, maybe we should go for the smaller windows. Like maybe that is enough. Because it is just a very small side building. I don't even know what it would actually be used for. But yeah, I just think that probably makes the most sense. There we go. So we change those. I think we'll just have a few of these small windows. These narrow windows, I think, will fit this size and vibe the best. So we have a 2 wide. Is this 2 wide? No, this is 3 wide. 3 wide building, which I think is fine. I think that is totally fine. And we can even add these little details to these if we want to. I don't know if that make them too busy. But yeah, we could add them. Like, you have these little details. I don't know if I want them here, because again, it's just a very minor small side building. I don't know if we want to make it that busy yet, but it's definitely nice to have all these options available. So the next layer of this build, I think I'm gonna want to stick out just a little bit like that, because basically what we're gonna have is we're gonna have these stone foundations, and then we're gonna have like the more village looking tier above it. But we also want to make sure that this is an even number again, so that it's going to be easier on the roof. So I think if we do this, this should work fine. The only thing I'm going to have to keep in mind that at the very end, I'm going to have to use a layer of quarter ceilings, just so that we can meet up with the wall of the main building perfectly without any issues. So don't want to have that one here. Just want to skin all these. So yeah, once we have this and we change these to the village skins, we're going to get in a little bit of those nice wood textures. And that should really help transform the look of this. Now, I'm not entirely sure what kind of supports I would want to add underneath here. Because we could, of course, go for like stone supports, but I don't know if that makes any sense. I mean, they do look quite nice, of course, with the little details. So I could have something like that. But yeah, I don't know. be the alternative? The alternative, I guess, would be some maybe wooden supports, which might actually make more sense here. Like, I could add in some, like, scaffolding-like supports like this, which might make more sense. Oh, I guess the snap point here is different because of the way we added the ceilings. But yeah, I think if we have something like that, that could still look quite nice, because then you still kind of make this look a little bit more supported. So that wasn't really what I was hoping to do. I could even do it like this if I want to have a bit more of a curve, which also not too bad. Let's actually grab the Castlecraft skins, because they fit quite nicely and they have some nice variants for like more scaffolding looking pieces. So something like this, or just keeping it all shallow. That is the options, I think. Yeah, maybe just keeping the shallow one is better. Oh, forgot about it not wanting to stay without that final piece. Yeah, I think just having those probably looks good enough, and then we'll still have the nice supports for these parts. All right, I think for this spot, we're gonna basically just mirror what we did here. I think just create a little window, just to create a bit of balance on both sides. And then honestly, we might have another window, because I don't think we need a door here. So I think we might want to have a window here, because we could have the entrance from the inside of the main building, I think. There we go. We can add those, and then of course we want to add the windows, but that don't work like that. We need to have these. Yes, and then we can change all of these so that we can get these windows in the right shape to get this build started. And then we can get the nice windows in place. Awesome. So yeah, that's kind of the bottom layer. I just need to grab some quarter ceilings here so that we can finish this layer all the way without clipping into what is going to be the main building once we start that. There we go. So yeah, basically this should allow us a nice base for our build, and then we should be able to bring up these supports here as well, which I think is going to make for quite a nice little pass through. And just a bit of these supports, I think, can't hurt. Yeah, there we go. I think that looks quite nice. And then of course we have the next layer of the build, where I do think we probably want to have some beams going around it just to make it feel a little bit more supported. And then I mean some half beams at the very end, I suppose. And then we can change them all the way through. There we go. Yeah, I think that works. So yeah, then basically for this part of the building is going to be a very medievally looking build. So with the village there, and then the main building is going to be more of a fortified building. That's kind of the vibe I want to go for. So I want to blend in a little bit of new textures, especially around here where there's a lot of stone buildings. We want to bring in a little bit more of that village tier to kind of set it apart, I think. I think we're gonna go with 2, and we're just gonna see what that looks like. That would look like this. I mean, I can do that. It's just kind of weird that it's not... I guess it's not centered with the bottom. That's the only thing. But it's never really gonna be because we have this extra little bit. So maybe this is fine. And we can just have these supports as kind of the skeleton for this building. And I like to change these skins so that we have a better idea of what I'm working on, especially for you trying to, you know, see what I'm doing. It's a bit easier if we skin it as soon as possible. Let's see. So obviously we want to have some windows here and there. So what I'm thinking is at least here in the center too. I think I want to literally center them out. There we go. Because then we can have 2 nice windows there in the middle. We can even add these details to them, so we can have the little supports, but then change them to be these, so they look like the village there. And then we can, of course, add in the actual window shapes. I want to add in the windows themselves too. Oh, there we go. Let's see, what textures do we have? I think I'm just going to go for that one. But what window shapes? I do like this one a lot. That one's a bit too narrow. I think the double one might be the one to go for now. Just to change it up, because I've used the other one a lot. Yeah, I think that's quite nice. And then I probably want to do X's in the corners. Just to add a little bit more patterns in there. Thank you very much. I'm glad you like it. Yeah, I think that works. And then I guess I probably want to do the same thing on the other side too. So let's bring over these shapes. This tree seems to be maybe a tad too close, but I should be able to hopefully make it just a little smaller. Ooh, that does make it a lot smaller. I might just want to move it a little bit, because if I just move it like a little bit there, I'm sure it will be fine. Because I like the size as is. Wait, can I just do this? Oh yeah, I can. Did I? Seems to be more in there now. Maybe I need to kind of change it around a little bit. Or was it smaller than the default size, maybe? Maybe it was. I think it probably is in the right place. I might just have to rotate. I think the JV8 thing, I can rotate it a little bit. Nope, that's not what I wanted. Please return to normal. That's also not what I wanted. Oh, it doesn't allow me to save it there. Is it still poking through? Well, it's not really poking through. Just a leave. Just a leave. I'm gonna have to turn it a little bit more, I think. Okay, there we go. So we want to have it like this. And then make it one smaller. There we go. Now we're safe. We're safe. The tree has been saved. Because we definitely want to keep the tree around. Nope. I need these here. Oh nope, that's the wrong gun now. I need my variant gun, of course. There we go. Get those details in, and then of course we can change all of these to those village skins to get the right look. There we go. So the double windows, that's one. Oh no, we chose the bigger ones. There we go, the bigger double window. And then X's in the corners. There we go. Oh no, I did change those. I probably actually want to change the bottom pillars. I keep forgetting that those options are here. So we probably want to use those a little bit just to add a little extra texture in there. There we go. So yeah, that's already bringing in a little bit of color. Oh wait, these need to be the same, I think. All right, let's see. Let's see what we want. I don't know if I want to have windows in the sides. I don't think so. Otherwise, it might be too much windows going on. So I think I might use those as just normal walls, because that will be also easy if you're trying to decorate it. You can actually just build something against the wall. And we can also add in these half walls up until where the main building is going to be. And then of course change it all to the right skin. There we go. Okay, for the side of the building, I think I want to go for these and make them go in like that. Then we can just have the stripes for those. And I think that combined makes for a pretty nice pattern here for the sides. There we go. And flip them around. Yeah, I think that's bringing up a nice building already. So now we have 4 wide here, so that does mean I think we can just add in these and then basically get those same lines out here. There we go. Then I think we're just gonna have 2 windows here in the middle and then 2 walls above it. I think that's just what we're gonna do, because then we can go for these windows. There we go. Add in some stripes over there. That makes for a nice start here, I'd say. And then over here, I think I want to center another window. Just like that. And then finish the roof over there. And then this is probably where we add in a round window like this. We can add in the X's. And then a little bit of those details up there. I think that's going to be the basic shape of the building. Also leave some rooms for some like flags and other details that we might want to add to the sides. I think. Yeah, now I guess the next step is just adding in the roof, right? I can do that, but then I need some quarter roofs there and quarter roofs there. But if I snap from here, should actually just be able to bring out the roofs all the way to the end like this, yeah. Saves me adding a few extra pieces because of all the quarters that I would have used otherwise. There we go. Then, of course, the main question is going to be, what am I going to do for the roof textures? Am I going to go for these? Or I'm going to go for the greener textures? Also kind of depends on if it's going to blend in with the main roof of this building. It might, because it's quite high. It's quite tall. So maybe we kind of leave it uncolored for now. Maybe we do add a little bit of a slope off to the edge, because otherwise we're gonna basically do some quarter pieces. But I kind of feel like having it slope down a little bit on the edges. I think that might be quite nice. It is a big building, so we might add a few of these more special details. There we are. So we just have to imagine for now that this roof is skinned. Because we're gonna wait to see for the actual roof. There we go. Yeah, I think it makes more sense to first see what the main building is gonna look like before we do anything else. So the idea of the main building is actually that it's slightly raised up. And I think it's going to be raised up by 2. So basically that this layer will be part of the almost kind of the basement layer. And we might add in some windows. So this is just a temporary kind of wall to kind of block it all out. And I did add some details down below. I might have to move those, because in an ideal world, I guess what we would do is something like this, where I could have the stairs coming down to enter the build. So I guess that means we do a little bit of cleanup here. Oh, there we go. Didn't want to delete that. Of course, this does change things a little bit here, because we probably want to just utilize as much of this space as possible, because why not? And it started raining. There we go. So yeah, I think this works, because then we just have a bit of a bigger basement, and then we just need to move these stuffs around a little bit, and I'll just add in some other details. And I guess we can save these walls. We don't need to waste structures, because it's a big place already with all I've been working on. I guess I don't really need the whole sidewalk there either. Saving some structures. So yeah, we're just gonna pretend like this was always there, and we're just building this entrance here. There we go. So yeah, this would all be the castle tier up here, and it means that we basically start the entrance up on this layer. So it's a little bit of a raised up building, but we are going to utilize the bottom layer. Hello there, welcome in, welcome in. So I think what I want to do is for the entrance, make sure it's centered on this part. We'll definitely want a double door there. And then we're going to change or add actual doors there too. And then I think I probably want to make sure that whatever we have here is also kind of centered with this part. So we'd have a bigger window here. Just having to kind of imagine what it's going to look like, but I think it's going to be working. There we go. Just like this. Add in the windows there as well, and then we can kind of start transforming this side of the building a little bit. See if we like what it will look like. Because this is basically the main entrance for this entire building. And I think we're gonna go for a nice curved entrance. And we're gonna go for the big window here if it doesn't go too far. There we go. Yeah, I think this will give it some nice character. I do feel like it might also be nice to add a little bit of like more to the entrance here. So maybe what I'll do, something like this. Just a little bit of character, and then maybe we can add these textures on here. Yeah, and then this is gonna be quite low, but technically I can still walk there, so it's fine, maybe. I mean, yeah, because the stairs kind of save you there. Okay, so let's add the scaffolding pieces. There we go, and then the village on those corners, I think. I mean, that works, because you just need a little bit of detail here. Then, of course, we want to have a railing for sure. Probably want to have these same kind of nice spikes. There we go. I think that works. Gives us a little bit of a nice raised entrance, which means that, well, most of this building, or the main layer of this building, will actually be up here. And then we'll just have to make an access point to the bottom, maybe over there somewhere. And it just means that we have a whole other layer to work with. Yeah, I think if we just add the staircase in here, that will probably work. Add some railings around it, of course. Actually, probably also along the sides here, so that we can get in here. You basically have your whole basement ready. Then we want to have definitely a pillar on those corners. Do I want to kind of section these? I could. So we have a 2, 3, 2. Because what is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, so we're going to have it an even bit, which is fine. Because we might be able to use that as a window part. So make some quarter walls here to kind of center out the window quite easily. And then we can have a window here too. Is that the same kind of window? I think so. There we go. I think that works. And then I guess for the next layer, the question is, do we want to have some of those nice big windows like with the gateways? Because, for example, having them here could be quite nice. But also depends on what we're exactly trying to do with this build, of course. Maybe having one at the end couldn't hurt. Like a big window there. It would definitely look very cool from this side. It's going to be a bit more of a fortified building, so I would at least need one more layer up here, I think. Okay, because if I do this, will that stay? Should stay. So yeah, this could be then the top layer, which will meet up with this roof. So that's nice. We don't have to take that into account too much. That's not going to really mess up any build plans we might have. I think that means we can raise up those pillars on the corners to be the right height. Oh yes, of course, on this side it's gonna be oh yes, this is, we can have that one at the end there. So that's a 3, that's a 2, that's a 3, that's a 2, that's a 2. Guess that's gonna have to do. And then maybe I need one in the middle, but maybe not. I mean, I have one on the other side. Just to kind of give a little bit of structure to it all. But if I have those pillars, do I raise those up all the way? Because in that case, would it make more sense? No, because it would still be kind of uneven. So I think we'll just have to section it off like that. That works. Then I probably would like to keep that going for this layer. I think. I'm not sure. We're just kind of trying something out, seeing if we like it, and otherwise we can always adjust it. Basically slicing up these builds in different parts to see if we all like it. Well, the one thing I do know for sure is that the top layer, we kind of want to have that this way inside out, so we can add some nice details along the edge of this. Let's maybe start with those. Get that look complete. There we go. So yeah, what we want is the little ledge all the way around the top of the building. There we are. Awesome. Yeah, I think that quite works. And then we just want to basically, well, start filling in the different parts. to see if we still like it once it's completed. I guess we do kind of know that at least this layer will also have these floors. We can, of course, change these skins along the staircase. And we can change all of this. There we go. I think I better just kind of change all of these skins. I've changed this corner. Can change the bottom here. Change those pillars, and then I think I better make sure that I do that for this entire layer. Just to get a better grasp on what it will actually look like. There we go. Yeah, you can get this skin on any platform. It's Gothic Craft. Yeah, it was released last week. It's one of the new cosmetics. All right, let's see in what ways we want to divide up these different walls. One thing I know for sure is I think I want to repeat that window that I did on the other side and just have the same over here. I think that makes a lot of sense. There we go. Oh. There we go. Add that window in. I don't know if that means that I automatically just want to fill in these walls, but I think for now I will do that. And then I think if I add the trim skin on this one, if it will let me. Oh, I think my game might boot me out of the server because I'm not responding anymore. That's always fun when that happens. Yep. I think we're gonna get kicked from the server. So I guess we'll just look at some fun builds in the meantime. Guess it's a little break. It's like a $5, I think, depending on your currency, of course. Okay, let me reconnect to my server because it's not letting me do anything anymore. Oh, please let me back in. Got a building to finish. Guess it was too much to handle. But we'll see. Please let me back in. There we go. No, skins you don't need to add to your server. You just need to install them, and you can use them everywhere as long as they haven't blocked skins. But most servers have them enabled, even official. There we go. Well, at least the good thing is that whatever they did in one of the last patches has made it so that skins instantly load back in, so I don't have to wait a long time before we can build again. We can just continue building. This is all ARK, yes, this is all ARK. Alright, so we were working on this. I think if I add the trim skin to this, and then I probably just want to go for the one that blends in. I think that works really well. because we get quite a nice build like that. I still think I want to have a different layout for all of these pillars. So what I want to do is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So yeah, we have 11. So we want to have 5. So basically this would be the middle. So if I have those pillars instead. So we're going to kind of redivide this up a bit. So that would be a 3. Then we would have 2 of 2 here. There we go. And then we have 2 of 2 there. I think that might be a more natural way to divide this. Of course, that does mean changing around this a little bit, but I think that might just be a little bit more natural. So then this would be the pillar going up. Okay, so I want to take away that pillar. And instead, I'm going to have this one, which should be fine. We're going to have that pillar. We're just going to continue with these. There we go. So this one, it's gonna move. So that's gonna be the gap of 3. Then we have a gap of 2 here. There we go. And I guess I can still kind of get these variants in. Wait, didn't I have that variant there? So yeah, now we could just have that window here. Slightly moving things around, but that's all part of the process. Because yeah, I think that's just going to be a more natural way of dividing things up. Okay, so we want to have those again. There we go. Add that in. And for now, I think a lot of these we're just going to fill in with walls. We can always add in a few extra windows wherever we want to. But yeah, I think for now we're just going to keep it a bit basic to see what the base needs. I've already shown the progress. If you want to see that back, it's best to check on YouTube because you can skip back in the video. If you want to see the whole place. Because I'm not going to go get anywhere if I keep showing off what I've built so far. There we go. So yeah, we can have those windows opposite each other. I think I'd want one of those here at the very end too. There we go. That means that we can just continue these walls. Just like this. It does mean that we potentially could have some more windows here if we wanted to. Oh geez. Which could be quite nice. And then we would have the pillar continue here again, of course. Get this window in. There we go, because that does add a lot of those nice gargoyles on the side. I think that might be might be nice. I mean, they are just very nice shapes in general, so it always looks quite cool. It does definitely look quite cool from this side. Like the fortified bits and then the more village tier. I think that works quite well. I think these walls probably just want to fill in. I think these two, but then we'll have a door over here so we can reach that building. I think I'm just gonna fill in the middle with the wall just normally, just because we already have a lot of the big windows. And sometimes it's also just nice to have a proper wall to either place things against or have your staircases against. So I think that might be the way to go. We can add some details, of course, with the different statues and banners, etc. we have. There we go. So this gives us access to this room, this part of the building. And then I guess it would be kind of time to work on the rest of this build. So realistically, the roof would go up like this. It wouldn't be crazy high, but that's probably a good thing because it already is on a hill. And we can add these all the way across. And then we'll just have to have some nice details on the end of the building, of course. And we can still add a bunch of details to the roofs as well, because there's so many options that these roofs have. But let's start by shaping it up a little bit, because I want to do something new for this build. If I add this, which way is it now facing? Yeah, it's facing the wrong way because these walls are flipped around. Which is a bit problematic because I don't know if I can flip them around once they're placed. Yeah, I guess, I don't know, that doesn't flip the way I want to. I can't rotate it. So I need to somehow snap it the other way. Which I might be able to do. What if I do this? So I snap that the right way. And I take up my railing. This railing should now be facing the right way. Perfect. Okay. And if I place another railing against that, that's still going the right way. So yeah, if I just pick this railing and instead of snapping to the other walls, I'm gonna have to snap railing to railing. And that way I should get the right snap points. Because basically I want to use those kind of battlements as a nice edge to this roof, just to, well, change it up a bit. Make it look a little bit like a more fortified build as well. I guess that also means I could add them here on the edge. Okay, I should be able to take those out. And now if I add the skins, they should be all facing the right way. Awesome. So yeah, that just gives us a bit more of a fortified feeling. that will connect down there. Can I? Guess there's not really an option for that. Maybe we can add something in those corners to fill up those gaps. There we go. Yeah, because that is kind of the fortified feeling I was going for. And especially if we add the roof skins in, I think that will help a ton. Awesome. I guess the only downside is if I want to add these, that's not gonna work. I'll have to do a little bit of tweaking to get those in the right spot. But that's fine. We can definitely do that. Okay, let's also figure out the ends here, because I think what I want to do, well, pretty sure at least. Oh, that wasn't what I wanted to do. Yeah, I want to have the window in the middle, of course. And then should be able to fill in the rest of this. Change those skins. And, of course, get the nice circular window up there. And then by using the trim skins at the very end, some half pillars on those. I think we can make a pretty cool looking roof still. If I can get those railings. There we go. So yeah, it's a bit more of a fortified build, which is the vibe we were going for. And I think if I take out an artifact pedestal, I should be able to snap that up here. And then with the deco skin, we can use that turn that into something, but at least we can kind of fill up the gap. Is that what we want? That could be it, but just needs to be smaller in this case. Yeah, I think that might work. Just adding a little spike on those corners. All right, add those spikes around, I'd say. That's always annoying when that happens. Because why would that happen? Why would I not be able to place the artifact pedestal? Can't do it here either. Or there. Can I place anything? Yes. That is certainly strange. Very strange. I guess that's a problem for me to figure out why it doesn't let me. Because, I mean, it definitely has support, because otherwise the whole thing would not be there. So, I don't know. There we go. Let's make sure we add those in. Add a little half pillars here. Oh, not there. And then we can add in those final details at the railing around the edge. There we go. So that we have a nice fortified building. Yeah, still not too sure why it wouldn't let me place down the piece I wanted to. so potentially we would have a little tower in that corner. Nothing too crazy. Just... how big would I want it to be? 2 by 2? Could it be something like that? Could be. Because then we have a little tower on top of there. Let's say we have this. And I don't know if I want to have it go all the way down, or we can just have it go back into the building. But I'm definitely going to have to make up my mind, because it's also going to intersect with that part. I didn't quite know if I want that. Maybe if I move it over a little bit, I don't have to intersect it with the other building too much. There we go. So take out that pillar. I don't need this pillar anymore. That pillar's gonna go. Those walls are going. We're adding these pillars back. There we go. Okay, so yeah, if we add these in, then we can have this come down a little bit. Actually, I probably want it to go that height. Oh, I might have to remove this window then. We also might have to remove move the stairs at least. Because they're gonna meet up at the same place. Oh. That wasn't really what I meant to do, but it's fine. There we go. All right, so if this comes all down to here, it means that we could have the connection point up there. So that would be where we can kind of enter the tower. Just like this. And then it's kind of built into the side here, which also means I think we'd want to have some supports like that. Just have a normal wall here. Add some of these beautiful supports. Do I want to have the big supports? Maybe, yeah. Could be nice. And then okay, so yeah, if we bring up these pillars again, we should get the addition of a nice little tower, just to give it a little bit more height here, and to kind of add a little bit more interest here to the side. Because of course it means we break these up. Actually, it kind of means that this wall is going to change, because, well, you probably would just kind of build in this tower. There we go. And we would want to do the same over here. So basically add a little room off to the side. Then we can take out our pillars, bring those all the way up to the top so that these layers are connected like a tower. And we could actually use the tower potentially as a staircase for the upper layers at least, if we would want to have like an attic up here. We just need a new way down for the bottom layer. But we could kind of have that right next to it. So I think if we add this internal wall here in the basement, we could have more stairs coming down over here. And that kind of means that we have what we need, right? Like if I grab a railing, I can add those back in. Should all be okay. There we go. Okay, so first of all, the bottom layer, I want to have that little ledge at the bottom. There we go. I didn't want to change these actually. And at the bottom there too. It also means that we can have an interior wall here. Not gonna do it all the way down just yet, just in case. I do want to add something here. And in case I want to have the attic here, I guess there could be a door in any one of these. So let's leave those open for now, just in case we want to potentially connect up to an attic. But yeah, it would definitely have to be the spiral staircase, right? Because nothing else would fit in here. But we could definitely do something like this. There we go. Yeah, we could. You could add the attic up here if you want to have some extra space. With the tower, it would easily be possible. And I'd probably go for the village tier for the attic, to be honest. Get some nice wooden textures in here. Or maybe keep that stone. The tower might be stone still. There we are. I think that works. Also from the inside, just get a nice ceiling. And on the inside, I actually probably would add some supports just to make it all a little bit more dramatic. Because why not? A little bit of the dramatic flair here on the inside. There we go. I mean, we got all these cool pieces. Might as well use them, right? It does mean that we probably also want to have those at the end. There we go. I mean, that makes for a pretty nice hall here on the inside. Also means that we can most definitely have this as an entrance to the tower, and then we can just skin the rest. So we have that as a bottom layer. I guess that also means kind of want to do the same here. I could add a window in here, like halfway up. If I can just grab my quarter walls. Could just add a little window in there. Why not? Grab a window. There we go. Do we want to have a little detail along the sides? Why not? The tree is a little bit in the way for building. Not necessarily for the build. It's just for seeing the build sometimes. It gets a bit tricky. Okay, so now we want to add in some details. I think I'm going to have the top border here, so it lines up with the top border around the rest of the building, which I think is just a nice feature. We're going to add in a nice little window there. I think anything in between is going to stay normal. And then these top layers, I think we're going to add these nice curves just for a bit of extra fun. I think that looks quite good. And then the next layer, I want to go for a different stone type to change things up even more. There we go. Yeah, so far I quite like the look and the vibe of that. I also do think that we need to support this roof, and if we add these pieces, that looks quite nice. So that feels like the tower is being held up properly, even though it's coming from the side of the building. And then here on the inside, probably want to add in an actual texture. And I think if we add another layer, we're going to have like a little ladder, because there's not a lot of room for anything else. But I do think there's a variant here that will add in the railing, and I'm not sure if that's going to be visible from the outside. Hopefully it won't be. It doesn't seem like it. So yeah, we might as well add that in. Hello there, welcome in, welcome in. I'm glad you love the builds. I'm glad you love the builds. Thank you very much. Oh, why is there there's a random ceiling here? Okay, well that's definitely starting to take shape now. That's looking a lot nice already. I also think that this is the top border that we need, so we can add that in. Also here on the inside looks quite good. So we have the staircase going all the way up. That seems ready now, which means we can figure out the design here for the top of the tower. I think for the actual top, I'm kind of gonna connect it up like this, so it becomes a 3x3 tower again, because I think we can add some nice details if we do that, just like this. But before we get there, we can of course add in a few other details. First of all, I think here we can maybe add a clock, and then probably some windows on the other ones. Yeah, it's all the Gothic skins. Yeah, this is the Courtyard one. Okay, let's add these quarters so that we can add in some windows in the middle on each side. I think that's gonna be quite nice. There we go. And then we can add in our windows for these remaining sides. Let's add in the windows themselves. And let's skin it all. Yeah, probably want to add the castle skin to those ceilings too. There we go. All right, I think for these windows, I'm probably just going to go for the round one. I feel like that makes a little sense. Maybe add a little bit of stained glass in there. There we go. We can do that once more over here. Awesome. So yeah, for this side, I'd want to add in a sign. There we go. And then scale that up so that we have a nice clock on that, which I think is always a nice addition, just to kind of change that up a little bit. We should also, if it lets us, because before it was giving a bit of issues trying to place these down, but should be able to get our artifact pedestals in here, which is going to be the next phase of this build, because those, of course, we can change into these lovely details, which we quite like. Let's see. I do really like those pieces, but we'll see whatever works best. I think, yeah, we might have to go for those on the corners, just because they work very well as corner pieces. There we go. So yeah, basically what you do is you add these first, because these are just artifact pedestals, so I don't think there's any collision issues, even unofficial. And then we can add our corner roofs. Of course, we can't see them because of the visual, but there's no structure in the way there, because it's just a little artifact pedestal below it, which is the only thing that gives us these structures. And it gives us really nice corners for these towers. And then actually what I also really like to do then is add these builds in, because that gives even more shape to the tower. There we go. That already looks quite nice. Then we just need to finish the top, which is where I want to add in another ceiling, and then I need to go inside to just add a snap point underneath, even if it's just temporary, just to make it all a little bit easier for myself. It's always easier to just add a little structure there for the snap point, so you can easily add the artifact pedestals without any issues. And then we should be able to go back to the top, take out the pedestal, and add the deco skin to it again. And then this time, I think I'm gonna go for the variant with the flame on it. Since this is kind of a fortified bit, it feels kind of good if it's maybe like a signal. I'm gonna make it a little bit bigger. And I think I might want to make these side ones a little bit smaller. But I'm gonna have to go inside to reach the artifact pedestals. And actually, all these the temporary thing you can actually remove afterwards, because we already used the snap, so we don't need it anymore. So I think if I scale them down by half, I think that should probably work. And still look nice. There we go. Down the stairs again. Yeah, I might have to scale them up a little bit, like 1 or 2 small steps. But that does make for quite a nice design, I think. I do think that I kind of want some supports underneath these. And I could do that with quarter ceilings, but since we got things snapped to this, it's probably quicker just to add a few of these. Just so that it is all a little bit more connected with each other. Let's get rid of this rain, because we like to just have some clear skies when we're working on the build. Yeah, I think that works. Definitely think those corner pieces need tiny bits more size. I am working on my mansion with Fernandez's deluxe skins. I just need to finish up the interior. Let's see, the pedestal. I think if I do like maybe just one, let's actually do one on that, and then let's do two on these, so that we can kind of compare like which one is the better option. So the one is 0.6. Yeah, I think the bigger one is the better option. So 0.7 is what we want. And up the staircase we go again. Sure wish I did the staircase last now. Okay, so this needs to be 0.7. There we go. Awesome. So yeah, that should make sure that they look the right size. Yeah, there we go. So we still have the details, but the middle bit definitely still is the bigger part. And the good thing about that, of course, that it helps this build be a lot more visual as well from like the lower levels, which is exactly what we want. We want those layers to really become visible, so that when you're walking around the village and the town, you kind of still see all of these little towers from different layers kind of build up to each other, which is quite nice. And I think this corner now definitely has quite a nice vibe to it, of the whole building actually. Quite nice vibes to it. Of course, we still want to add our skins to it. I think I am going to use the village skins on these. I might change it from these copper ones to the slate version, so it still matches the main building, but it still has the different vibes that maybe fit a bit more. Or we might keep a bit of the green. I mean, who knows? Just like that. Actually, I didn't really want to take out the gun. We do want railings, because we want to have railings across the top of this part of the roof for sure. There we go. And then, well, we're going to turn them into the battlements, but not actually. Okay, of course, these can all become actual roof pieces, so they blend together nicely. Awesome. And that means we can also change these. Oh no. Change those railings. There we go. I'm glad you like them, Iron Bear. The stave chairs was quite a cool one, yeah. There we go. Let's change these to the nice spikes. All the way through to the opposite side. And then we want to add the big spike at the end for the final one. There we go. Now there's definitely also some things we can play around with this layer, of course, because I could add a nice addition there, and then I would also have that here, so that we just kind of break up the side of that roof a little bit. I think that works probably can just do the same thing on the opposite side just to balance it out. Really like those dormer windows because it's just a really nice small addition to the roof, which I wish more and more of the official skins would do this as well. But yeah. Oh yeah, with the Viking skins that will look great. Hello there, David. Welcome in, welcome in. All right, so yeah, this angle, especially now that we've skinned it, I actually quite like it with the green. Might just keep it like that. This looks really nice now, this angle. I think, yeah, this looks pretty cool as well, actually. And of course, the other side, we still need to... the copper, you can change the copper to slate by default. So there is already an option here where you can change the material settings to slate. So it becomes the other material. I haven't tried painting it yet. Because of course, this has a little bit of colorization, it being copper. I'm sure it can be painted, and you have the two options, so actually you could try and see what paints better, I suppose. Okay, so for this end, what I need to do is flip around this wall. Then I need to take out my railings, snap it on top of there, and I need to use that snap point for the rest of the building so that I can be certain that these battlements will face the right way and they will look like I want them to look. There we go. And we can take that all the way across to get a nicely reinforced looking build. Hello, can I get rid of that one? There we go. And actually, I might want to have an addition there and an addition here. That's what I think. Where I want to break up the roof. It also means... Oh god. Oh, why does it always do that, ARK? Please don't take down my pillars. There we are. Gonna do this on this side too. Hopefully without breaking anything else. So the reason why I'm doing this is that I want to center out a roof piece so I can add another dormer window. So we want to have quarters at the top and bottom as well as along the side so that we can basically center out a roof in here and use that dormer window. And then we'll do another one of those here and keep that going. There we go. Okay, so now if I take out my normal windows, they don't usually like snap. Oh, they actually do like snapping exactly where I want them to. That's great when they listen. Awesome. Very nice. Okay, so now we can skin all of these roofs again. And then we should be able to get our dormer windows in. So, for example, I could have one here. Do I want to have the spikes? I think this one is more suited for this style. Yeah, that does really finish that roof, I think. That really is the little addition, the little tweak that we really needed for this kind of like fortified building. There we go. Awesome. Just one more. There we go. Yeah, this works. Very nice. Then all we really want to do is add a railing across the top of this roof, because I still think we want that. So we're still gonna bring this all the way across. And just add in the final detail for this roof. There we go. And then we just have to change the variance to the right spikes. And then we can have a proper look at our building. I think it's turned out quite nice. Exactly kind of what I had envisioned, roughly. And it's going to make for a great centerpiece of this little neighborhood up on this hill, which is exactly what it needed to be. A bit more fortified, so, you know, this could be, I don't know, like a guard post or like a garrison stationed here to keep like the city watch or something. But yeah, look at that. We got the little details in there now. That looks so nice. I kind of like the green now, the contrast with the two building parts. And of course there's going to be a building there still, so that the square feels a little bit more alive. And then I might add a few extra details here and there, just to like some, you know, props around on the streets. We could even have like almost like little market stalls. So for example, if we add something right over here. I guess. Oh, it's not necessarily part of the building, but like to kind of fill up the square a little bit, we could make this in a little market stall. There we go, something like this. And we'll add the supports. Of course, then we just need to add a few little details around, but I think that does add a little bit extra life here to the square. Especially for like the little cityscape. Could also be the governor's center for town. Yeah, it could be for sure. It's a nice fortified building with a little tower to grab some of your attention, which is always great. There we go. Yeah, I think quite happy with that. Because we're gonna have this building here to fill up the rest of the square. We'll add in some details and you know, some little bits around. We'll have some more buildings down here as well. Building here where I don't have a clue about yet what it's exactly gonna look like. This one I know what it's kind of gonna look like. Also added a sidewalk in already and a few little details for like the bottom. I do need to add some details because of course I lay down a lot of the streets and the foundations, etc. Just to kind of give myself an idea of what the cityscape is going to look like. But I think next stream, I don't think we'll necessarily do another big building like this. I think I want to do a lot of the little details, so bringing a lot of life to the streets, because I think that would be really fun to do together, so that we can, you know, you can help me get some cool ideas of little things to add, little scenes to create all around town, because I think, yeah, that would be really fun. This is not Crimson Desert, no, this is ARK. Hello there, Aaron, welcome in. Yeah, I've been really enjoying your skin, as you can see, for a week's worth. I think this is, yeah, it shows a little bit of my addiction for the last week. But yeah, I've been really enjoying it, man. I've just finished this new build. Yeah, I've just finished this new building in the center here. But you can see I've been hard at work with a lot of different buildings and laying out like city plans and stuff. But yeah, I'm really enjoying the skin so far. Still playing around because of course there's a lot in there. But yeah, I love it, especially being able to change the textures as well from like the copper to slate. I think, yeah, I've got that here. It's really nice. I've blended in some Castlecraft as well because that works quite well with it, of course. And the copper, yeah. The copper. Yeah, I've got the slate. I've got the slate, slates over here. Yeah, Mikey told me some of the tricks. And I think I added some of the brass. Yeah, I added some of the brass textures here as well. Changing the materials. I haven't really changed the stone to the weathered look. Yeah, I need to play around. I'm trying to take step by step because there's so much in here. I need to kind of do it like step by step. I'm really happy with these kind of towers where I've layered a lot of those pieces you've got available, and then of course scaled up some of the pieces to make some really nice steep roofs, which is normally not really a thing we can do in ARK, of course. Like these ones for the church as well. And I like that, you know, we still don't have steep roofs. I still hold my hope that one day they will add that. But this definitely helps to get some steep, pointy towers in here, which definitely helps with the Gothic feeling in general. But yeah, I've been really enjoying it. There's a lot of good stuff here, especially with all those 3D textures and all the windows, etc. It's a very nice one to play around with. XL buttress. Ooh. Wall-mounted water tap. Oh, that's perfect. I've been wanting that because I have a little water feature here, and it would be perfect to add some water spouting ones right there. That would be great. That would be a great little addition. Yeah, I mean, when I saw it was released, because I didn't really keep up with when it was actually coming, and then I saw it was released last week, I was like, okay, perfect, because I've been wanting to do a town build, and this one definitely feels perfect for going all out. I said to my friends, like, I don't even feel like I'm playing ARK at the moment. I feel like I'm building I'm doing like city skylines. I'm just building a town now. But yeah, really loving the pieces. Are there any plans as well for the utilities? I don't know if you've told this somewhere, but that would be very nice to see some of the utilities in this style as well. Because so far, every piece is amazing. But yeah, the water stuff is going to be good because I've got a waterside river here. So that's going to be definitely useful to have some spouting little gargoyle taps. Oh, the utilities now. Awesome. Yeah, I'm going to have a bunch of little things around. I mean, I've started a little bit with the scenes. But yeah, maybe adding a thrall or something next to it would be nice to kind of see if it adds a little bit more life. Let's see. Let's not make it aggressive. It doesn't have to be that crazy level. It can just be a 150. Oh, maybe I need to make it tamed, I think. No. No thrall. Maybe if I spawn it as a cryo. Nope. Doesn't give it to me. I'll do that next time. Yeah, thralls definitely could be a good fit. Otherwise, we can always add dummies. No, oh yeah, I totally get that. Yeah, if you get the chance to work for something on the base game, definitely do that. But yeah, this feels like it would have blown away Lost Colony, because I think a lot of people kind of were hoping for this kind of skin for Lost Colony, and of course the Lost Colony ones, they are quite nice, but they're a little bit more tech related than actual proper like Gothic theme, and this is definitely the Gothic theme. Me and a lot of other people were hoping for. I think thralls have to be in Lost Colony. I think I've had them on other maps. Lost Colonies, love hate. Yeah. Which, I mean, I think that's always going to happen. They're definitely a lot more difficult to use. Like, I think the Frontier ones still stand clear because they are much more versatile, which is, in the long run, always going to be nicer. But yeah, no, this skin has definitely quickly become one of my favorites because, yeah, I mean, this is a week's worth of building. There's a lot of building here. So I've got a lot of Gothic related videos coming for the next few weeks. And I've got big plans. I am excited to start on a proper big cathedral as well, because with some of those structures in here, especially with like all of these like the supports, the windows, etc., the stained glass, that's just going to be a lot of fun. I already had a lot of fun doing little church, let alone doing a proper big one. Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, I haven't really missed any pieces. Well, I mean, I've just noticed that there wasn't the utilities yet. I assumed they probably would be coming, but yeah, I haven't had like major missing pieces. The water spouting gargoyles is definitely going to be a great addition. Yeah, other than that, should have, yeah, well, next time if you're working on the, I don't know if you already have plans for the next one, because I can imagine it's a big job and you might want to have a little break between this and the next one. But I mean, if you were happening to work on like pirate craft, I don't know if that would be the next one, but yeah, feel free to send me a message. But yeah, this has been a lot of fun so far. So I think for the next stream, I'm probably gonna try and finish up the current town layout so we can work on some street details, and maybe start planning out the area for the big cathedral, because that's going to go over to the hill. I'll remove that building because that was for a tutorial. And then the big cathedral is going to be a lot of fun with these pieces. But yeah, it's exciting. I'm having a lot of fun. Alternatively, what I also might do, because I also kind of want to build some bridges, because I think they can look really nice. So I might build some bridges to the other side of the river so that we can have the little river floating actually in the middle of our town, which could be really cool. So yeah, there's so many options, and especially now if we're gonna have the new gargoyles and stuff, but we're also gonna get the buttresses and stuff. So I mean, we'll see where the tide takes us, but for now we can just kind of walk around our town and enjoy it. This is one of my favorite new things to do, just kind of walk around towns, see the sight lines, like the different heights of all the buildings. It's really nice. And as I said at the start, there's the big tavern, which might be more of a guild hall because I went quite crazy with it. I might have to do a tutorial on that too, because that's definitely one of my favorite buildings so far. But yeah, there's lots of little cool details. All the little 3D pieces really help with bringing character to these builds. Yeah, I needed some. That's the only thing I missed, I think. Some like the village set is really nice, but there wasn't any like the wooden pieces, so I had to like kind of blend in the settler pieces for like scaffolding like this, And then, yeah, there are wooden textures just to have, basically just to have a different texture in there, you know. And the castle craft, of course, just fits very nice. But, yeah, big plans, big plans. So, yeah, thank you for making Gothic crafts, because I had been in a little bit of a building slump, but since this has been released, I've had a new passion released. And it actually has not only been for these builds, I've just been having new energy to do all sorts of builds, so that's been really nice. And I'm hoping to be able to finish my city before I go too crazy at too many structures and start crashing myself out, although hopefully my PC should be able to handle quite a bit before that happens. Alright, I think I'm gonna end it right here, because this might be one of my favorite angles currently, with these nice layers and the nice builds. All right, anyway guys, that is gonna be it for today. So we got a great new addition in the center of town, which is filling in that new neighborhood that we're developing up here. There's a few more buildings that need to go up around it, but definitely starting to take shape. And if we now take a look at this, it definitely feels like we're having a town. So definitely not bad for a week's worth. But I'm sure there'll be many more additions since I've been kind of just going non-stop. But it's been a really fun project. And as I said, I'm trying to balance out and kind of guess which buildings would be most interesting to see tutorials for, because obviously some buildings are just very small or kind of filling in the shapes, but some of the more cool and unique builds I'm trying to do tutorials for. So next week there will be the first few. I just before the stream I recorded the stables tutorial. I think the tavern over there, the big building, might be one of the next ones, and the church. But yeah, if you see any builds you'd like to see tutorials for, please let me know in the comments or on Discord, because there's a lot of buildings, so you might have to share a screenshot of the specific one you'd like to see step by step. But yeah, really fun. And thank you, Aaron, for making this kit, because it's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of fun. I can't wait to see what the future will bring for this one and whatever next project you do. Anyway, that's going to be it for today's stream. Thank you so much for hanging out and joining me today. As always, I hope you enjoyed. If you did, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and hopefully I'll see you around in the next video or the next stream. For now, goodbye.